Tina Knowles breaks her silence. A matriarch's painful truth and the family secret that shaped a dynasty to the world. Tina Knowles is the picture of poise and power, the regal matriarch behind one of music's most iconic families. Draped in elegance and exuding quiet strength, she is known for nurturing the rise of global superstars like her daughter Beyoncé. But beneath the surface of public grace lies a private story, one of heartbreak, injustice, and generational resilience, that Tina has held close to her heart for over 50 years. Now, in her raw and soul-bearing memoir Matriarch, the 71-year-old opens the doors to a past that has remained shrouded in silence. For the first time, she shares the emotional scars left by a brutal act of police violence that forever altered the trajectory of her family, the savage beating of her older brother, Lumi's, Skip, Joseph Beyoncé, in 1967. It was a night that began with ordinary promise and ended in life-altering horror. Skip, a young black man simply trying to return home after a date, was mistakenly dropped off by a taxi at the wrong house. Though the home was just a short distance from his own and the resident recognized him, confusion clouded judgment. In a moment of fear and misidentification, the police were called. The neighbor, upon realizing the mistake, immediately phoned Tina's family to clear things up. But by the time they arrived, flashing red and blue lights had already engulfed the scene. What they encountered was the beginning of a nightmare. I'll never forget the way my mother looked, Tina recalls. She stood there, watching the police surround her son, and her voice cracked as she begged, "Please don't let them kill my son." She kept saying it, over and over, like it was the only thing she could still control. Her mother's cries fell on deaf ears. Despite protests from the neighbor and the family, Skip was handcuffed and taken away. What happened next would shake the foundation of the Knowles family for generations. The next morning, they were told they could come pick him up. But nothing could have prepared them for what they saw at the station. He was drenched in blood, Tina writes, her words cutting like glass. His face was swollen beyond recognition. His eyes were shut. He looked lifeless. For a moment, we thought he was dead. The pain didn't end that day. Though Skip survived, the emotional and psychological damage radiated like aftershocks through the family. The trauma was not just personal, it was generational. Her parents, once strong and steady, became consumed by fear and vigilance. It was like we were no longer living, we were surviving, Tina explains. Every siren, every knock at the door, it was a reminder that we weren't safe. Not in our neighborhood, not in our skin. The violence didn't stop with Skip. Tina reveals that years later, one of the same officers involved in her brother's arrest would detain her, too, a moment she mentions only briefly, but one that underscores the long arm of systemic injustice. We were harassed by the police for years, she writes. Our lives were under a microscope. We had to be perfect, polite, invisible. We were always on guard, always afraid. The toll on her mother was especially profound. Already a woman of quiet nerves, she became engulfed by anxiety and fear, afraid every time her children stepped outside that they might not come back. Yet, through the darkness, Tina Knowles found her fire. Rather than shrink, she stood. Rather than remain silent, she marched. In the years that followed, Tina threw herself into civil rights activism, channeling her anguish into action. She walked in protests. She raised her voice. She made sure her children understood their worth in a world that often tried to deny it. My parents never said things like, "You can be anything you want to be," she reflects. That just wasn't the world we lived in. What I heard was, "Get a good government job and don't cause trouble." But there was another message, too, a louder one: family is everything. And if you've got your family and God, then life is amazing. Through it all, Tina never let the pain extinguish her spirit. Instead, she built a legacy of strength, one that would carry her children, and now her grandchildren, forward. Matriarch is not just a memoir. It is a battle cry, a prayer, a powerful reminder that behind every icon is a story, and sometimes, that story begins not with glory, but with unimaginable pain.